Hi, welcome to my next video in my series on alcoholism and nutrition. Last video I talked about niacin, and I had a viewer ask me some follow-up questions, so I thought I would do an extra video in this series and sort of share some of the things I've learned in the years of taking niacin. So here are some tips to more effectively take niacin. The first tip sort of has to deal with dosage. You don't want to start off with too much. You want to start off with just enough to give yourself a flush, and you kind of have to feel out where your body is. I started off anywhere between 100 and 250 milligrams, and that's why I always got capsules, because I could open them up and kind of take a smaller dose if I wanted to. And then I got up to 2,500 milligrams. And I didn't do that all the time, and I wouldn't recommend that for everyone, but you do have to kind of figure out where you are. My next tip, tip number 2, is a hot bath with Epsom salt. That was really born out of kind of desperation. I remember one time I was going through withdrawals pretty bad. I felt like there were just bugs, crawling on my skin, and really, I was really anxious and I couldn't sleep, and started thinking about ways to potentiate the niacin. And I thought anything that would boost circulation. So I got into a bathtub, and it was almost like divine providence that I had some Epsom salt there. And I don't know if you know this, but Epsom salt is very high in magnesium. And I put like 3 or 4 scoops of it in a hot bath. And when you take a bath with it, you absorb just a handsome amount of the magnesium into your skin. And when you mix that with the niacin, it really helps with the alcohol withdrawals and the insomnia and the anxiety. It was really a blessing for me. Yes, I would recommend that for anyone. And you need to stay in the bath at least 30 to 60 minutes to really maximize the absorption of the magnesium. Okay, the third tip is cardio. I would do anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes at least of cardio. Could be anything: jogging, lunges, jumping jacks. It went really well with the niacin, and you can even mix it and match it with like the hot bath and Epsom salt. Works really well. Tip number 4, circulation increasing agents like ginkgo and CoQ10 go really well with niacin and the potentiation of niacin. You wouldn't want to take that at night, obviously, because they would keep you awake, so that would be more of a daytime thing. Tip number 5, tea. Tea is a great way to take any supplement, most supplements at least. I think it's much more absorbable and potent even, and I would do that with niacin. I would put it in chamomile tea or kava tea, things like that would have a relaxing effect, and it went really well together. And tip number 6 has to do with like food recipes, ways to take niacin. I was a big fan of, and still am a big fan of, like vegetable smoothies. I would blend vegetables up a lot into in my blender and just completely liquefy it, and I would put niacin in there, and I started looking for things that would boost nitric oxide because that would really be beneficial to circulation. And the best thing I found was beets. Beets are very good. They contain a lot of nitrates, and what those are is basically they convert into nitric oxide in the body and improve circulation. Another thing that I would do you know where the term quitting cold turkey comes from? Well, it comes from a long time ago when alcoholics used to quit drinking. They would experience a lot of anxiety and depression and insomnia, bouts of insomnia. And to help them quell those bad feelings, they would instinctively turn and eat a lot of turkey because it had high amounts of tryptophan. Pumpkin seeds have a much higher content of tryptophan. And what I would do is take like 1 to 2 cups of pumpkin seeds in the kernel, in the shell, and put them in the blender, and put like a cup or 2 of applesauce in there, because applesauce contains sugar and carbs to spike the insulin, and you need that so that the tryptophan can cross into the blood-brain barrier better, and so you get the most out of it. And then I would mix a little juice in there, anything really, and then put the niacin in there. And the great thing about pumpkin seeds, it's one of the best foods on the planet for you. It's so complete, and it's got so many micronutrients like zinc, and that zinc helps make a lot of. It's a cofactor in neurotransmitter production, and so when you combine niacin and tryptophan and zinc and all those other great nutrients, it just really had a very beneficial effect for me. And bonus tip, if you experience any itching when you take niacin, that is because your body is releasing histamine. I'm not sure if you've heard of histamine, but I'm sure you've heard of its counterpart, antihistamines, things like Benadryl. That's when you take niacin, your body releases histamine, and a simple way to quell that, if you have any itching that you need to get rid of, I've figured out just taking a small baby aspirin is really good for that. But I hope you've learned something, and if you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And thank you, and look forward to the next video.